When I think back to my time at BYU, two things really changed for me. The first one was basketball, okay? I played basketball at BYU, and it completely changed the way that I think about a lot of things. Yes, playing at that level of sports taught you a level of dedication, hard work, teamwork, all the stuff that you hear around sports. But it also introduced me to the boosters. These were millionaires and billionaires that completely changed the way that I think about money. We were flying around in their private jets for 4 years. I did not fly commercial for 4 years because of the boosters at BYU. So that was thing one. Number two, though, actually took me longer to appreciate. I graduated in finance from the Marriott School of Business, one of the best business schools inside the country, but it took me a while to really appreciate what I learned there. But after going out into the real world, it taught me a framework of business that honestly has been invaluable in my life. So I'm going to break down the 5 biggest lessons I took away from the Marriott School of Business to give you your degree in 10 minutes. Now, before we get into it, I want to be very clear on what this video is and what this video isn't. This is not a regurgitation of the courses that I went through, the materials, and all the different things that I studied. What this is after building 20 businesses, having done over $100 million in revenue in just the last 5 years, these are the 5 lessons that I point back to the Marriott School of Business that have changed the way that I fundamentally think about business to try to synthesize it down in the next 10 minutes. The first one is probably gonna be the hardest one of all 5 for you guys to immediately implement, but that lesson is the numbers tell the story of a business. Too many people try to use emotion and storytelling to tell the story of a business, when the facts always lie under the hood. I can't tell you how many venture capital, private equity, real estate pitches I've been into when I will specifically ask for pro formas and modeling and numbers, and they'll say, hey, before we give that to you, we wanna tell you the story about our business and the story about this property. Yes, I understand what they're doing, it's marketing, it's sales, and we'll get into that. But really, they're trying to bring emotion into the sales process to get you to invest your capital before you look at the numbers, and that is not the right way to invest your capital. BYU taught me how to look extremely analytical at numbers. How do you actually digest a pro forma? How do you make financial modeling? How do you look at tax returns, profit and losses, balance sheets? It taught me how to look at the numbers, build it out, and project what the business is going to do with all emotion out the window. This single skill has probably led to tens of millions of dollars back in my pocket. And on top of that, your little sub bullet point is how to work Excel to be able to do this the right way. I have so many people inside my business that can't work Excel, and it absolutely drives me nuts. Understanding how numbers work and then being able to manipulate those numbers and create financial modeling is a skill set BYU taught me that I will forever be grateful. Lesson number 2 is strategy is choosing what not to do. Too many people think strategy is choosing what to do, and I'll explain the difference here because once again, this is massive. Every business, every visionary, every entrepreneur, every founder has a million ideas of what they can do. You probably have worked for one and interacted with one, and they're always chasing the next big thing and trying to ideate how to get there and have a million different ideas that they're chasing. Not only that, they'll come up with 50 different funnels to sell their product, and they are constantly rebuilding from the ground up all these different ideas. True strategy is saying no to 99% of good ideas. Strategy is saying yes to the 1% of amazing ideas. When you finally figure something out that works, your job is to iterate, test, and perfect that funnel, business model, product, whatever it is, as far as you possibly can. There are single product businesses that do hundreds of millions of dollars of sales. Figure out what you do it perfectly, and understand that strategy is not hours and hours in front of a whiteboard figuring out all the different ways and the intricate roadmap that you can implement. Strategy is often having someone at the helm that can say no to 99.9% of stuff and lead you strategically down the right path of the one thing you should be doing. Focus is what creates leverage in business, not chaos. Lesson number 3 is going to be a controversial one. If you had to ask me which one I'd prefer, the perfect product or the perfect marketing, I would choose marketing all day. If I have marketing, I can get customers in. Customers can give me feedback and I can iterate on that product faster and faster. My employees probably hate it, but it is literally a mantra inside of a company. They know I'm gonna jump off the cliff and I'm gonna ask them to build a parachute on the way down. I do not believe that you should ever ship anything that is 100% perfect, because the truth is it never will be. Perfectionists kill businesses. If I could tell any young person out there that is trying to start a business or be valuable to a founder or trying to carve their place in the workplace, it would be the best person implement sales and marketing inside your organization and you will never lose your job. Every accounting, legal, white-collar job out there can be replaced with AI, but the truth is you will always need sales and marketing, and that is human psychology interaction and understanding how to talk to a person and get the emotion out of them to make a purchasing decision. And also, if you're going through the hiring process, another way to think about this, that is the last position that I would actually hire. And I know that sounds backwards, but in my opinion, the founder should be the salesperson until you find product market fit. Now, I want to be really careful here. This is not your permission to put crap out there and chuck spaghetti against the wall and put a terrible product out there that ticks people off. You need to provide real value, solve real solutions, and meaningfully make the world a better place. But if you can say yes to those three things, even if it's not perfect, you can find your way to perfection through good marketing and sales and listening intently to customer feedback, iterating and changing it and doing it with the whole identity of trying to make your customer's life better. Sales and marketing will make or break a business. Section number 4, finance is really the science of allocation. Too many people think that financial modeling is a concrete and fixed science. It is not. True financial modeling is understanding where the levers in business are and figuring out how to put the right allocation or gasoline on the right fire to blow it up to make your business grow faster than it would have without good financial modeling. Just because marketing and sales is 15% of your business and you're seeing profits doesn't mean it needs to stay at 15% forever. If you put it to 30%, does it increase top line, create scales of efficiency, and actually make you more profitable, or every dollar spent is actually more efficient? That is financial modeling, is understanding the allocation of resources in the most efficient way possible to grow a business and its profitability. You have to challenge assumptions constantly. You have to model out constantly. This is an iteration of the first point we made, that numbers tell you everything about a business, but this is you creating the numbers and actually modeling it out. Don't get into an industry or business that does not allow you to play with the financial modeling and test and challenge assumptions. The second that happens in a business, it's a dying business. And number 5, I learned years actually after going to school, and that is the classroom gives you case studies, life gives you consequences. I've said this 1,000 times on my channel. There are 2 ways to learn: counsel or consequence. Counsel happens in the classroom. It's really easy. Not to say that you can't do it. You can't find mentors out in the real world, but you play in these little vacuums of case studies where you're trying to solve one moving variable. What those case studies don't take into effect is if you change one thing in that business, it's going to change 40 other things inside that business. I love Harvard case studies. We do them all the time. I do case studies inside my hiring. I understand the purpose of them. But what I learned pretty quickly is the greatest skill that an entrepreneur can have is seeing 8 steps down the line. If we change our compensation structure to have bonuses, what are the unseen effects that are going to come from that? Understanding the consequences of that is where real business acumen comes in. And truthfully, you're never going to learn it in the classroom. I think it's great to understand the skills and try to fine tune stuff, but you will never learn how to run a business inside of a classroom. Anyone that tells you that is completely lying to you. But with this said, this is your permission to fail in business. And I know that sounds crazy and you've heard this 1,000 times, and this is not going to be the motivation rah-rah that you usually hear. Every one of my employees knows I'm okay with failure, so long as it's not a repeated failure. We learn from our mistakes and we make mistakes, but our mistakes make us stronger and show us not what to do. The quicker I can get to a no, or the quicker I can find the wrong way to do it, means I'm one step closer to the right way to do it. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. Jump off the cliff, build the parachute on the way down, ship a product that's 80% knowing you're gonna fail because it's not at 100%. All of that is part of business, and the truth is 99.9% of the world is unwilling to do it, and that is why you are compensated so well when you finally get to the yes and figure out how to do it. Basketball taught me hard work, discipline. It introduced me to boosters that raised my vision for finances and showed me what's possible in life. The ability for someone to go earn $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, $1 billion finally was something in front of me that I could shake the hand of and ask them questions to. But none of that worked without the framework that the Marriott School of Business taught me. I don't think you have to go to college to get this framework. I think we live in the information area where you can get it from YouTube videos like this, from online, from mentors, from books. There are incredible ways that you can get that counsel for starting businesses to get you to a point where you can start learning from consequences. But you have to love education. You have to obsess over it, and you have to do everything you can to get your hands on it. That is exactly why I created this channel. Yes, majority of it is finance. This was a little bit more business, but hopefully you found value in today. If this is something that you want to learn more on, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the next video.